Raul. Welcome to Failing with Style podcast. Here with my illustrious co-host Daisy Viciana. How are you doing?
Good girl. You know, this light, I'm still trying to figure out the studio lighting in this room. I don't even know what was better, this one or
So much for starting.
I know, but like, oh my God. I see it in my glasses. I should just take my glasses off.
It's whatever you want to do, bud. Do
Yeah.
you feel like it really bugs you?
Yeah, it does. Look, you see the reflection?
I mean, with time. With time. You can also put like a film. Some people do that. They put like a film on their glasses and stuff like that to
Hmm.
help it not read so. And now you're just shifting positions, and now it's gonna be insane to edit this now. Wow.
All right,
Well,
I'm sorry.
no,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good. Well, welcome to the Failing with Style podcast. This is a podcast where me and Daisy talk about the successes and the failures of our up and coming careers.
Hold on, let's just start over.
No, it's too late. Just
No.
have it.
All
Just have it. Just no, we're good.
right, all right.
We're good. We're good. But
Okay.
so how has your week been, Daisy?
Yeah, well, I went through a roller coaster of emotions,
Yeah.
and I found something out about myself that I didn't know before, which was really cool, but difficult. So I've been struggling with confidence, and I don't know about you, but that's a really hard thing to like wrap it up and talk about, like
Yes.
nobody can tell you really how to get confident. You have to find that within yourself,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes. It's funny that
I
we're following this episode
uh,
after we just talked about the imposter syndrome episode, which I think has a
I
lot
know.
to play in. But yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Confidence is a hard virtue to mine in life. But where are you feeling like you're suffering from having a lack of confidence?
Yeah, well, so the imposter syndrome I don't get with my art. I feel really confident in that,
Yeah,
It's something that I'm behind the scenes. I can work on it every day and it's not a problem. My confidence is more in like leadership skills, and communication, like talking with people. And I've talked about this before. Um, but so recently, shout out to my little Discord group. I started a Discord group, and it's a bunch of us story artists. After our mentorship, we got together in a group, and I wanted to foster that because I thought it would be a great idea to build each other up and create this community. And so they don't know this side, but I got I started the Discord group and like a year ago, and recently I got access to the server, so that means I get to do a lot of things with it. And I was like super excited. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like I got access to the Discord. I want to change the name, like do all these things." And side note, I don't know why I have this fear, but I have a fear of becoming like a like a dictator, like a cult leader.
you get drunk with power. Is that what's going on
Uh,
here?
yeah, well, it's not that. I don't know why. I think just dictatorships really scare me, and when I
Mm,
find like some power in me, I'm like, I don't want to go down that
it's a
route.
slippery slope.
Yeah. And so,
First, an artist Discord server, then Ecuador.
yeah. And I don't know why I have that fear. Maybe it's like the Venezuela thing, like the
Oh
the
my
past
god.
trauma, like things have gone downhill real
Yeah.
quick. And I know I have leadership potential and I know I can build it,
Mm,
but I get scared of that. So whatever. Jumping back to the Discord, I like announced something in the group like, "Oh, I want to change the Discord name, so like everybody it would be cool to change it." And then like some people agreed, some people didn't, and then I was like, well, we should just do it anyways. And then and then I like backed out and I was like, no, I shouldn't have said that. Like I need to hear everybody's opinion,
but
you
you're
know?
the moderator, Okay, you're like the head person.
Yeah, and I actually, so what I did was, because I got in my mind, I got in my head, and I was like, I don't know, this isn't right. Like, I'm not letting people be heard. Because that, like,
Yeah.
kind of ended there. And the next day, I kind of, like, backtracked. I was like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to be, like, a dictator here. I just.
Jesus. Oh my god. Okay. I really like this note, but can we pause for 1 second?
Yeah.
Is someone ordering a pizza on an old phone in your house? Because there's like a beeping going on.
Is there? I don't know.
I
You
don't
know,
know.
Eric likes to do it a lot of. I should just shut this door.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Um. So why? But why do you fear that? Why do you feel?
Okay, so
Sometimes
the.
a leadership position means that
Mm,
you do have to enforce a change that you feel will be for the betterment of the community, but it doesn't mean that you're doing it all the time. And you
mm,
did put it up to a public like poll, and
mm.
was it the majority in the favor for a change, or not really? Or
Yeah, majority was in the favor, and I mean, we're still like this is fairly new for me. So we're still kind of like going through it. I actually asked people to like help me with the Discord. So now it's not just me, it's like the shared governance, which I like a
okay,
lot
the
better.
shared governance.
But yeah, like I reflected on that because I'm like, why am I so scared of that? What is going on? And then I tried to really think about a time where I felt that way, that I was kind of overpowering people. And I remember, like, a long time ago, someone really close to me had said, you know, Daisy, you always get what you want. And when they told me that, I was like, I don't like that because that's not my intention, you know? But that crept into me. And I was like, I need to make sure that everyone's heard. And that person who told me that like is no longer in my life, you know. So it was like this trauma that I
Yeah,
hadn't dealt
yeah.
with, and I had to like really dive in to figure that out. Because the following day when I figured that out, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Like, I'm not gonna be a dictator. What am I thinking? Like, I watched a whole Netflix show about how to become a cult leader.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
I mean, I've seen a lot of cult. First, you gotta grow your hair out long.
Yeah.
You gotta be like all one love, hippy dippy, and then sex cult,
Yeah. And then change their minds.
and then change their minds, and maybe food poison a whole city in freaking Washington State. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
But like
Um,
watching that show, I
mm.
actually was like, nah, I mean, I'm not like that. So it'll be fine.
Well, okay. So really quick, because you're talking about like, how Venezuelans have like thing about dictatorships. I'll tell you this: no Cuban American in their right mind wears gorilla green. I
Gorilla
dare you to,
Green.
I dare you to find a Cuban out there wearing gorilla army color green. It's not. It is very rare to
Oh,
find.
really? I never
Yeah,
noticed that.
yeah. You know why?
Yeah,
Some
yeah, I
infidel
know.
decided to make it his
Mm,
friggin' outfit.
mm,
So this is my take on that, especially in leadership positions or in positions. This also does apply to confidence. It, for example, when I started my business, I started Dade County Comedy. There were originally three members of the group. There were originally three members. I was just two. With the LLC and everything being in my name, I'm the head. No matter, I'm the head honcho. I'm the controller of it. The reason why is because one of the members of the group was not performing or doing things that I really needed him to do. And I begged him to do. It was a thing that I really wanted this person involved because I was thinking like you. I wanted this to be like a council. I want this to be a tribunal, if you will,
mm,
of the three of us because I was a lay comedian at that time. I was only in doing comedy for a year and a half. And the other two people have been doing it for a lot longer. But what they had in experience, I had in work ethic and just consistency and in trying and grinding. And I was looking for that in them.
mm,
And one of them gave me the responses I wanted. One of them gave me the what I was looking for, and the other one almost went antagonistic towards me. And we were boys, we were best friends, and it really fractured us in multiple ways, in multiple ways. Um, and I had to finally let him go. I had to finally be like, "Hey, you're not part of the group anymore."
Oh, it
But it
stinks.
stinks. It does stink, and I hold no hardship towards that person,
Mm,
And I want the best for that person. But I will also say my career path and the path of the company has grown exponentially from that move.
mm,
Has because I had a little more control. I had a little more of a green light on things, which allowed me to take advantage of certain opportunities that were not available previously, or things that kind of stagnated us. You know,
yeah.
I do always look to try to make things fair. And I think that's something we all look for in all of our businesses and all the places that we work with. But there is a point where you need to be belief. You have to have belief in yourself and that you are making the right decisions, not only for yourself, but for others sometimes. That's the reason why we have a president. It's the reason why we have CEOs. Because sometimes it is in a governance, in a republic, in a democracy, it is hard to get things moved forward. That's why sometimes you do need like an executive position to just make the final call. And yes, you have to live with the consequences of it. I live with the consequences of that decision every single day. But the benefits of it have grown and have shown their value exponentially. And I don't look back on that decision with regret. I really don't.
Well,
I look back on it that it hurt to do this, and I wish even further back that I didn't do things with my friends like that. But that that decision ultimately paid off. Go ahead.
so I've been reading a book actually, like,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to develop my leadership skills. And like small history, I've always been in leadership positions without me wanting to be in leadership positions. I think just because of my grades and my grade point average, it sort of just like came to me. So I was in like leadership in college, leadership in high school. Um, but now I'm actually like, okay, let me build this. So I started reading some books, and there's this book called The Hard Things About Hard Things, I think, something like that. I'm terrible with titles. It's by Ben Horowitz. I think he built like his own tech company from like the bottom to the top. And he gives really good advice in there because he talks about how like at first, like you said, you hire some friends of yours because that's what you have. And some people are going to step up to the plate and some people aren't. What was I talking about? Oh
You're
yeah,
talking about
some
Ben Harrods and
okay, so some people are going to step up to the plate and some people aren't, right? Um so then like you get to the point where you have to drop those people that aren't stepping up to the plate because like you said, it's not for the bigger picture. You have to like have the people with the right ambition. And I also heard like so I saw a Netflix special with Michelle Obama, and she was talking about how, she gave this analogy where you're climbing a mountain, and sometimes some people can't climb it with you, and they just like for whatever reason can't keep scaling, and those people you can't let them hold you back, you know? Which is unfortunate because I, like you, I want people to be empowered and I want everyone to grow that within themselves. And sometimes you don't have to do everything by yourself. Like it's good to have that community, but I'm starting to realize there is also one person that needs to take action. So like I also figured something out that in a company, you have a CEO, but you also have a board of
yes,
directors. So that you have like, yeah, this guy's making the final decision, but they have a shared governance with the board of directors.
it's a checks and balances system.
Right. So,
Yeah.
and I'm
It,
like, it was so stupid because I'm like, it's this little Discord group, but I like put so much pressure on myself because of the amount of goals I have. And I'm like, well, this is my chance to practice and do it right so I can see what works and what doesn't, right?
Yeah.
So,
See, I am. I have the fear you have to the nth degree because I try very hard to be very laissez faire. To the point that if I had group projects in college or if I had like a thing to do, even playing something as foolish as D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, I try to be like, here, have the reins, guys. I'm just a supplemental player in this game or
hmm
in this project. And then the reason I do that is because if I do take on that alpha or that leadership or that head role, I do get a certain way that sometimes I
yeah,
don't like. And I'm
right.
very, very cautious about that. That's why I like, sometimes I'm a lone wolf in the sense I like operating alone. In fact, if there's an option, when used to be an option during a class project, if you can do it like in a group setting or solo, I'll be like, I would rather. So like,
Oh.
because I hate putting my expectations on other people.
Mhm.
Um, which brings me to like another point about like confidence and confidence building. I'm a big believer in this. I'm a big proponent in this because I've experienced both avenues and I've lived a long enough in life that I've seen the avenue that I'm most successful in and where I've seen other people be very successful in. I'm a big believer in surrounding yourself with positive reinforcement. I'm a
Mhm.
big believer in surrounding yourself with people who want to speak positively about you, who want to compliment you before criticize you. I'm a very big believer in that because there used to be this belief in the 90s and the early 2000s, and there are parts of this I agree with, that you need to have harsh criticism to sharpen the edge of that knife. And I agree. You do need that, but you need a calm, loving hand to hold the knife to sharpen it. And
Mhm.
people forget that part. You
Mhm.
need a comforting, nice hand to hold. Every athlete you can imagine, every single a successful CEO, there used to be a position. It's called yes men. The point is that surrounding yourself with positive reinforcement does have statistical clear benefits. And there's no reason to surround yourself with critical, harsh people to hit you every 24/7 of your life.
Oh my gosh, 100%.
Yeah. I I
And
used go ahead.
mhm. Well, I believe that, oh my gosh, wholeheartedly, because I've always been a very friendly person, and I think for a long time in my life, I just allowed everyone to give me their opinions, and I also took them very personal because I developed these friendships, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like if they're saying that about me, it has to be true. But yeah, you have to make that distinction of like, this person is saying something that I have to really think about, and maybe it's not true. And the amount of negativity that is kept throwing at you, if you let it like seep into your being, then you're gonna be down in the dumps because it's like you keep listening to what everyone's telling you. So I started actually a little bit after when I started going down this path, I told myself I'm not gonna surround myself with people that don't serve me. Like, why am I going to let all these people bring the negativity? If you're gonna give me some criticism, like you said, do it lovingly, and also like it doesn't have to be mean, it's just constructive criticism. And that's what how we should talk to each other anyways. Because if you're coming out and saying, there's words that you shouldn't be using. Someone's trying really, really hard to get somewhere, and then they're saying, you're awful. That's terrible. What are you even thinking? Okay, do we really need that?
There's this group of society, and I think it comes from a little bit the boomer generation, a little bit Gen X, of like that people salivate to give you tough love. Like they
Mhm.
can't wait. to give you tough love
Yeah.
because they think because tough love. I love tough love and I hate it because tough love. Yes, you do get raw, real criticism, but tough love is also a chance for people to be mean and
Hmm.
uncouth with you, and I don't appreciate that. That's
Hmm.
something that like I hate to make this comparison to this comedian, but okay. The best time the comedy store is this big monumental comedy room. It's a comedy club in LA. It's considered the best comedy club in the whole world. The best time, the time that it accelerated and it hit the pinnacle was when Joe Rogan became kind of like the head figure of the comedy club because he was promoting this positive reinforcement, people hanging out, people making it familial, people being loving and caring with one another. New York used to have a bad reputation. New York comedians, and they still do, have this bad reputation of being like curt, cutthroat, stomp over the
Mm.
next guy, which does make great, powerful, hilarious comedians. But in the shorter amount of time that the 80s and 90s comedians of New York came out, hundreds of great world touring people have movies. Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, Brendan Shaw. However you feel about any of those comedians, you know their names. You know why you know their names? Because they came from this environment, this loving, caring environment that Joe Rogan created in the comedy store and created like a fertile ground and a happy ground. There's this great study, amazing study of plants when they're given like positive, happy words of encouragement when they're growing in conjunction with like negative, harsh language. And they're plants. They should not even expect emotions. They should
Hmm.
not even be affected by emotions. But plants that were given positive, wonderful emotions or wonderful speech grew better and stronger than the plants that were getting like this negative, like horrible, like talk to.
Hmm.
And if plants react that way, how do you think human beings react?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we need to create that culture that I don't know why it's like that.
It's like that
It's so
because
sad.
the 80s gave birth to hypercapitalism, I would call
Mm.
it. Like, step on the other guy's throat, doesn't matter. Get the better car, get the better job. It doesn't matter. Like, that greed is good mentality, like the Wall Street
Mm.
mentality, which I'm not saying is a bad mentality. It did create a lot of progress and a lot of forward movement, and there is still competition. But I'm saying within your circle of people, within your grouping of people, it shouldn't be like that.
Hmm.
It shouldn't be like that. That should be like when you're going up against a competitor, when you're going up against bigger stakes or competition or tournament, whatever you have.
And
Not
you,
in your own familial group or not within your group of friends.
even then too, though, like you can still have a nice friendly competition. It doesn't have to be so cutthroat, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
People hate
You
this.
know,
NBA players are all friends with each other's guys.
yeah.
I hate telling you this. They all like each other. They all hang out. They
Yeah.
all smoke out after or do whatever they do. They all hang out after. I know it's a hated thing from some sports fans, but they're human beings, just like me
Mhm.
and you, just like the person who's listening to this podcast right now.
You know what I've been doing lately? I've been listening to a lot of rap songs, like hip hop, to get me motivated. They really like, if you really start listening to the lyrics of hip hop artists, they sort of tell you how they got there.
Yeah.
And they give you a lot of good advice, actually.
Biggie. Biggie. It was all a dream. It was
Yeah, well,
all a
I
dream.
listen to Jay-Z too. I
Yeah.
actually got some financial advice from him. Eric introduced me to the song The Story of OJ.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that song.
It's funny. You know, it's funny. So West Coast comedians have the this like lovey-dovey kind of thing where like the East Coast comedians are cutthroat.
Mhm.
West Coast comedians are considered cutthroat and hardcore, where East Coast comedians like again Biggie, Run DMC, like Sugar Hill Gang, all the old school.
Comedians or musicians?
I mean, rappers.
Oh, rappers.
Rappers are
Uh-huh.
more like loving and speaking about like the growth common, like all these East Coast guys.
Hmm.
It's just weird, like the contrast between comedians and rappers in that sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I've been listening to Jay-Z, J.
Yeah,
Cole, and
J.
then
Cole.
yeah, J. Cole is like, I love listening to real people. And
That,
it gets me motivated because they talk about a lot of that stuff. Like, don't surround yourself with people that don't believe in you. Like, there's some people in your family that are not going to believe in you, and that's just something that you have to deal with, but don't let it seep in, you know? You're the only person that set out this goal, and you got to believe in that goal and just
yeah.
keep working hard and being persistent and getting there because if you're working hard enough, you will. So,
You know, it's the one thing I hate with families
hmm.
that do that, like, oh, like they question or like your choices or anything like that. They're like, when you finally make it, or whenever you have a final success, it's like, well, I didn't need to believe in you. You just needed to believe in yourself. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no. You know, it'd be nice every once in a while getting a pat on the
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
from that one family member, someone that you know, not having para fajar to
Hmm.
fight for your approval.
Yeah. I stopped
The
fighting for
person you
the
should fight.
approval.
I'm sorry. This might be the quote of the day. This might be or whatever. The
Let's make
person that
it.
you need to fight for approval every day is not anyone on the outside. It's a person on the other side of the glass. It's a person on the mirror, and that's
Hmm.
yourself. It's the only
Hmm.
person you have approval from.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's so hard too, though, right? Because when you're growing up and you're
Is this
young,
podcast getting too yes, Queen? Because I feel
yes, queen. What do you mean? Why we don't have enough like disagreements right now?
no. I'm just being like I don't know. Sometimes I get too self helpy. I feel like or
No, I
philosophical.
mean, I think it's what helps everyone. We're here for the people, you know,
Yeah.
like there's people out there that don't have that support and we're here to tell you you need to find it within yourself and look for there's people out there that will support you. It might not be in your family, but
Mhm.
there's people out there that are willing to help. And that's something that you should search for if you're chasing after your dreams.
There are people who this is what I do. This is where I do like criticism and negative
Mm,
criticism. Is that, and this is definitely a rap lyric. Haters will feed you.
mm,
The haters will feed you. I had a lady sat me down one time, about a year ago from today, and she was like, it's cute what you guys are doing, but you guys are really just amateur comedians, right? Amateurs.
mm.
And I
With
was
that
like, okay,
face.
amateurs,
Uh-huh.
amateurs. You know what I did? I worked my tail off.
Mm.
And now I have this show. The show's the Mikasuki. I have the show Mellow Grapes. That sells out every time. My name has been on multiple articles and papers. Not to get really cocky. I'm getting cocky now, but like no, I'm beyond amateur, bud.
Hmm.
But thank you for giving me fuel to the fire
Hmm.
that you didn't want to actually feed.
Yeah.
And you're gonna find people like that. Those are little comments and little things that I do get fueled by. Um, eh, but I do like to surround myself with people that do make me feel loved and do make me feel appreciated and make you feel like you belong.
Hmm.
It's a
And
big
like
deal.
empower you, you know?
Yeah,
Sometimes it is hard to just do it all by yourself. So it's nice to have that group of people around you to support you and don't let go of those people, you know, foster those relationships.
exactly,
Mhm.
man. And that's
Like
that.
you know, this
Yeah, no, of
us
course.
helping
I
each
was so
other
happy
out.
when you started doing your art design and all your digital, well, your art design and your art in general. I always feel weird. Like, oh, how do I say? Do I say digital design? No, I don't think she likes that one.
Digital art, I guess.
Digital
Yeah.
art. But yeah, man. And I don't like. I like the me against the world mentality.
Hmm.
The only problem, and it's the same problem when you surround yourself with people who are just being positive, just to be positive. You don't want to create an echo chamber. You don't want to create a bubble.
Hmm.
So, but I think when I describe like positive reinforcement is with the concept that these people will speak real to you or will be like it's not just going to be like, oh yeah, everything you do is great. Every poop you make, it sounds like flowers.
Gold.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's that's something very important.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, to be real with you. You're just someone who's real and loving.
Yeah. Yes.
Doesn't
Exactly.
cut your throat.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I would implore the Boomer generation and the Gen Xers out there, that believe 1,000% in tough love. Try 1 week, just 1 week of doing positive reinforcement, and see how the people around you, how their emotions towards you, will change. I assure you, and it'll make the positive you put on the world does come back to you in spades, in spades.
And we were raised by baby boomers. Were you raised by a baby boomer?
Baby boomer Gen Xers.
Yeah. So
I'm not calling on my
it's
family here. I'm
no,
just
but
saying.
it's sort of like we understand that tough love in a different way. And,
Yeah.
so.
Which I understand. That whole
Mhm.
concept is that the world is tough and the reality is tough, and that you want to build your people to be tough and to be
Mhm.
strong people. And I agree with that 1,000%. I do agree with that. The world is tough and unforgiving, and that sometimes you need to give examples of that. Examples,
Mhm.
not lived, not
Mhm.
actual everyday life.
Yeah, like
Because
it doesn't have to come directly from you. We're gonna figure it out there. You can
yeah,
let us know, you can warn us, but
yeah,
you know. And then if it happens to us, you guide us through it, right?
yeah.
Instead of being like, I told you. Right?
So it is. So
Yeah.
it is. I don't know. Is there anything else? Any parting words you want to leave?
Um, no, I've just been really happy with the response to our podcast. It's small, but it feels strong. So thanks, you
Yeah.
guys.
Yes. Thank you, guys. I mean, it really has been wonderful. I really do enjoy. I can't wait sometimes for these days to do this.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm like, man, I need a vet today. I need some support from Raul, and here's his words of wisdom. Um, but yeah, I'm really happy with our little following that we have. And I want to say it out there. If I read something recently, like if someone's trying with their business and you see that they're working hard and you're a part of that circle, support them, because it's not easy. Like, and we doubt ourselves every day almost,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's nice to get that support. I'm working on the self-doubt, but when you have a little like or whatever, just give it to us. It keeps us going.
But I will say, comedians, you can't wear shorts. I'm sorry.
Stop
I
dropping
can't
that.
believe the amount of responses we got. People take that hard. They took that
Yeah, man. You're trying, like, I agree with them too. You're gonna give these people heat strokes with that
Oh
opinion.
my god.
Out down there in Miami. All right, well, where can the nice people find you, Ro?
So the nice people can find me on my new Instagram, which not new Instagram, just new name is Funny Raul. So just Funny RAUL on all social media.
Awesome. And I'm at Daisy Vesiana. It'll be down here when you see it. Email us, guys. Leave some comments, and we will get back to you. We want more engagement from the audience.
Yeah, yeah. I think we need to make some polls. I think or yeah, just like something that would give us a good response.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll get a guest on sometime.
I know. I've been trying. I think Katie and Andrew actually really want to do it, so maybe we can get them on.
As long as they don't argue with each other, because then the whole show will just turn into arguing with each other.
We'll cut them off.
If you think me and Andrew are bad, Katie and Andrew are like, oh my god.
Yeah, maybe we'll have them on separately. All
All
right,
right, guys.
guys.